everyone. So it occurred to me that Credo's having another 20% off everything sale. They typically only do this during their like friends and family sale in the fall, but they're having another one. This is kind of a last minute video for me, but I wanted to update you all on like my top faves from Credo. I really like their selection of products. There's a lot of products that you can't necessarily get at Ulta, Sephora. So here's my roundup of like the products that I absolutely love. And I think I'm gonna do a little wish list at the end because I do have a couple of products that have recently released that I want to pick up. I have a lot of makeup, but I actually have like some other little bits that I don't think I've mentioned before. This is one I think I have mentioned, but I'm just gonna give it another shout out. Dead Cool Taunt is becoming a signature fragrance for me. I love how warm it is. It's very like, you know, amber, bergamot, definitely has some musk to it. But what I love about this one is it kind of has an edge, but it's not too stuffy. You know how like there are just certain fragrances where you're like, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but you smell it and you're like, really? Like it's almost like sometimes they're trying to be really unique or like really edgy. And this to me is just, it's still very effortless. It still has an edge to it, but it's just, for me, it's like, you know, just in that right middle ground. I just think it's a really sexy scent. I also really enjoy Dead Cool Milk. I have talked about that before. That's a layering fragrance. If you just want to add a bit of creaminess to any of your fragrances, I have the smaller size of it and then the large of Taunt. I do prefer Taunt, but I also really like Milk too. I do have another fragrance I'll talk about later, but let's get into some makeup. So on my eyes today, I am wearing the Rituelle de Fille Ashen Ember Eye. So it's a product that I've talked about for years on my channel, but they did recently repackage them. They have a wider opening. The formula is still the same, but it is also glass now. I really like the new packaging. Before, you know, it was a little bit difficult to stick a finger in the pot. Anyway, these are essentially a really beautiful, sooty, sultry formula. It's a little bit like a pigment mixed with an oil. So when it goes onto the skin, it kind of reacts with the warmth of your skin and creates this really undone, sooty but creamy look. And I have just always found this formula to be really interesting. I think it's a formula personally that if you're into those really undone, sultry, kind of slept in eye looks, this is definitely going to be a product for you. I actually used 3. It's very rare for me to do that, honestly. I usually like do one and done. This is a really good one and done product, but today I went in with Incantation all over the eyes. It's such a beautiful shade. I have found that some like rosy shades are just too rosy and too pink, but this one is kind of a little desaturated. Absolutely beautiful. I've worn it on its own so many times, but I put that all over the lids. Then I went in with a couple of newer shades to me. I went in with Mineralia, and this is a really pretty kind of sooty, chocolatey brown. Would be great for that kind of like grungy, smoky eye. And I used that to kind of define out the look a bit. And lastly, I used Fauna All Over just to give me this really elegant kind of pinky purple sparkle. I love this shade. It is so beautiful. And altogether, I just feel like these shadows blend so beautifully together and just create really elegant looks. And I love the color choices within the Ashen Ember Eye Sods. I have always found them to be really unique. If you are someone that really enjoys burnished bronzes, if you enjoy taupey pinks, if you enjoy like these kind of rustic brown tones, I mean, the shades are so multi-dimensional, and they are so multi-dimensional that I just tend to find that every shade speaks to me. So I highly recommend the Ashen Ember Eye Sods. But if you're looking for kind of a different kind of hybrid formula, I also recommend the Celestial Spheres. These are their like jelly formula. Essentially, it is an eye gloss mixed with like an eyeshadow. Really interesting formula if you've never tried it. I don't have another formula in my collection like it. They will crease, so like just keep that in mind. It is supposed to give you that really wet, glossy kind of look. There are these insanely beautiful sparkly pigments throughout. Serpens is pretty epic. It's one of my favorite green eyeshadows that I have. They are definitely an inspired formula to me. You know, a lot of brands are coming out with like the typical formulas, but Rituelle de Fille, the Ashen Amber Isodes, as well as the Celestial Spheres are very inspired. Now, I have some other Rituelle de Fille that I'll talk about in a second. They did send me the 3-drop Weightless Serum Foundation. This is like a very, very new launch for them, but I haven't tried it yet. I think I might have put it like over makeup one day, but I didn't, you know, I haven't given it a go. So unfortunately I can't come out and recommend this foundation, but you know, it is 20% off. I will say, if we're talking about foundation, let's talk about a little bit of Complexion. Stick foundation I have on right now is from Westman Atelier. I always go and recommend this when it's on sale because it's an expensive product, and I would pretty much recommend it only when it's on sale. That doesn't mean that every time I wear it, I don't love it. It is this really beautiful, creamy satin blurring formula. I think if you are into just really beautifully packaged makeup, makeup that feels luxury and also has some really great performance to it, this stick foundation from Westman Atelier definitely checks all those boxes. Whenever I pull it back out, I'm very happy that I did. It's polished and creamy, but it's not overdone. It's such an easy product, so I really, really like the balance of it. I think it's a great one. And then of course, one more Complexion, Kosas Revealer Concealer. Not even going to stay here for that long because everyone knows my love about this one, but it is 20% off. It is my holy grail concealer and really the only one that I use half the time. So one product that I wanted to definitely make sure to recommend is the Tower 28 Make Waves Mascara. I'm almost positive that this is probably going to sell out. It's just an inkling I have. I'm going to go ahead and purchase it while it is 20% off because half the time I'm also only wearing this mascara. You guys are always asking like what mascara I'm wearing, especially in kind of like my up close tutorials over on my Instagram. If you don't follow me, make sure to follow me. I'll leave my Instagram down below. But anyway, so Tower 28 Make Waves Mascara holds an incredible curl. It is so buildable. It will give you drama, but it's not going to take you there too fast. You have an exceptional amount of control with this brush. It is rubberized bristles, banana shape. You can really get under the lashes and push them up. A great mascara on its own, but also can really hold up to more of a smoky look. Seriously, it's one of the best mascaras I have ever used. I am not always someone that recommends like a mid-range mascara or a luxury mascara, but that one I think is worth every single penny. Like, seriously. I don't think my lashes have ever looked better. And my sister, who is like the lash queen, she has absolutely incredible lashes. She has told me like when I'm wearing the mascara that the mascara looks really good. So, just saying. Shall we talk about some cheek products? So I have a few cheek favorites that I wanted to mention. First of all, in this little palette, I have a bunch of my Kier Weiss cream blushes. It is a great time to pick up these blushes. They're just so freaking good. It's one of those really pretty middle of the road formulas. You know, it's not too greasy. It's not too matte and chalky. They have a very nice satin finish. They blend really beautifully with a lot of different makeup. And I think as far as cream products go, I always go back and recommend them because they're such a fuss-free formula. And I don't think all cream makeup is fuss-free. I think some of it really, really can give you trouble. So I always go back to recommend those, especially if you're more of a beginner with cream products. They're beautiful. The shades are absolutely incredible. Inner Glow is like my favorite contour blush shade. It kind of like just gives me this little bit of a taupe blushy effect that I was absolutely enamored with the first time I used it, and ever since I just haven't been able to stop using it. But that's better for more fair skin. If you have more of a medium skin tone, I would go with Abundance. It's gonna kind of give you a similar vibe, but they also have like really pretty like blushy sunburnt shades. If there's a shade that you want, they probably have it because they have a lot of shades. So Really, really highly recommend those. You can get just the pans and put them in a palette, or they also have packaging that you can purchase separately. Speaking of which, Mob Beauty is kind of a similar vein to Kier Weiss as far as the packaging goes. You can purchase their packaging or you can just purchase the pans. Love their cream clay eyeshadows. I have 2 shades here. This absolutely beautiful mint green and then this lavender. Really fun shades, really pretty to kind of like spice up your makeup look during the summer. Either of these I think would be great if you're into these kind of pastel eye looks. The formula though itself definitely feels kind of like a cream clay texture. It has kind of a grip to it on the eyes, but it's also quite creamy. So the pigmentation is there, which I really like. You don't need a ton of this product, but when it goes onto the skin, it's not difficult to work with. It kind of sets down a little bit as well. So in general, I think that Mob Beauty is pretty underrated. They also have cream blushes, which I have found to be a pretty similar formula, a little bit less pigmented though, you know, just is a little bit easier to work with for a face product versus the eyeshadows, but really, really enjoy. Speaking of more complexion, Kosas Cloud Set for this summer would definitely be one that I would recommend. You guys know I don't use a lot of powder, but this has been pretty much the only powder that I've been using as of recent just to give me some longevity. You know, I feel like I've been kind of getting greasy this summer. I don't know why, but I have felt that way, and this is what I've been reaching for to give me, you know, longevity, powder the skin, take away a little shine, but not take away too much shine, not make the face look flat, which is so important. So I did want to give a mention to Cloud Set. I mean, I know a lot of people talk about it, but I think there really is something special about it. This is kind of a random one. I'm talking about more like kind of summer favorites. Not that you wouldn't use this all year round, but this is the Fur Oil. For so long, I've known about this product. Probably, I want to say at least 6-7 years. I've known about them for a really long time, but there was just something to me about an oil that you specifically use on the hair down there that, like, for me, not that you can't like use it on the legs or like I use it on my armpits too. I just couldn't imagine that this was gonna do anything so special that another oil couldn't. I really recommend this. It's beautiful. It really softens the hair and the skin. If you go to shave, prepping with this like the day before kind of softens everything. It soothes everything once you shave, and then you put it on after. Really helps with like ingrowns, I've found, like preventing them but also soothing them. It is the season for wearing swimsuits, obviously, and I'm really happy that I decided to try this out because I think it's a good one. Really an unexpected favorite. And they are under my wish list. They have a couple of other products that now I'm kind of curious about. So I'll mention those at the end of the video. Cream highlight. I always go back and recommend this one too when it's on sale, again, because it's an expensive product, Westman Atelier in general. The lid up stick in Nectar is so beautiful. I have it on my cheeks today. As far as that like really glossy, dewy highlight, I think this is one of the absolute best. There are some that are just so not good and like sticky. This is not that product. It gives you such a gorgeous amount of dew and really imparts that juicy effect to the skin without it being like an inelegant formula. And I love the shade. Again, it's just a very light peach, so it almost looks more natural. I think some of these products can kind of look icy sometimes. Like a lot of brands put too much like white in it. This is not like that. I love how natural it looks. As for the cheeks, one more cheek product, I wanted to go ahead and recommend the Color Nectar Pigment Balms from Rituelle de Fille, specifically if you're looking for that kind of translucent jelly blush look. I'm wearing the shade Bee Sting all over my cheeks today. I'm gonna add a little bit more actually. You can see, I just like freaking put it on with fingers. To me, it's almost like a cheek stain, but in a cream formula that just, I think some people will prefer, because some people just are not a fan of a cheek stain. They don't want like a runny texture, but this one has such a beautiful translucent balm formula. And by the way, it's not like a sticky product either, but it just has this really pretty flush, kind of perfect for like a popsicle kind of cheek look for the summer. Snapdragon is an insanely unique shade. I love this shade. It just didn't go with the look. I typically wear this one though. Here, let me show you. I'm gonna put a little bit on my nose just so you can see the effect. So I'm like, okay, I wanna add a little bit of like a burnt look, just a little pop. You see how it just adds this really pretty orangey red. I'm adding a little bit more over here, even though I said I wasn't going to. Just adds this vibrance to any look, and it gives you, like this shade in particular, is that pinpointing blush shade. I mean, I use it all over, let's be honest, but it's that kind of pinpoint blush shade is just gonna add that extra pop that I think some looks really benefit from. And in general, our skin tends to benefit from it. Like the overall look of the complexion, it looks like more realistic. It's kind of like that like makeup artist hack, you know, like to take a really pretty blush look to a like, whoa, what did they do? Blush look. One more fragrance, Heretic Dirty Coconut. I have found, I'm gonna add a little bit, that if you really enjoy almost like that fleshy coconut smell, kind of mixed with shell itself, like if you've ever smelt those two combined and like fresh coconut, that's what this smells like to me. There's some note in here that really cuts through any of the coconutty sweetness though. So if you're used to coconuts being too sweet for you, but you still like a coconut smell, I do really like this one. Before I forget, I want to talk about the Rowan quads. The 1111 palette is one of my favorite quads I've ever used. The formula is just bonkers good. I'm just gonna throw up a demo because I feel like the demos kind of speak for themselves. It's seriously one of the best color stories, most interesting formulas. I get compliments almost all the time when I'm wearing the Rowan 1111 palette. It just is a banger. And I feel like every time I see someone else in it, I'm like, that looks amazing. So truly one of my favorite makeup items I've used over the years. Have mentioned it in multiple Best of Beauty. So absolutely beautiful. But if you want to go more cool toned, the 52 degree palette is also a great option. But I just feel like for the summer, the 1111 palette is kind of where it's at. And I also wanted to recommend one of my favorite lip products that I've ever bought, which is the Rowan Liquid Lip Balm in the shade Charlie. This is such a gorgeous liquid lip balm. It has a beautiful translucence to it, that kind of stained glass effect that lets the lips shine through, but is so plush on the lips, incredibly comforting, makes your lips look so freaking healthy. One of the best lip products I've ever used. And I love the doe foot because you can really get some nice precision with it. But yeah, if you have not tried this formula and you typically like a liquid lip balm, run, don't walk. I think it's a great one. But let's talk about the lip combo I have on right now. I have the lip sheer from Rituelle de Fille on in Rue, and then I kind of blotted it down, but I did give you a demo of how it looks like full pigmentation, and it's very, very pretty. Think of this as like a better version of the Generation G's from Glossier. That's just my personal opinion. They're a little bit stiffer, but somehow they're smoother in my opinion. Really, really beautiful shades. Just good for that blotted lip look. You know what I mean? But I didn't want to go like full pigmentation with that, so I did blot it down, take away a little bit of the color, and then use the In Beauty lip oil, the glaze in the shade Apple. I love it so much. It smells like Twizzlers, great big applicator, and in general, just feels comforting on the lips. It really does feel like you're kind of putting a popsicle on your lips. Like it kind of gives you that pretty popsicle look, but you're getting a bit of the jelly shine. It tastes amazing. Highly recommend, and have talked about these like for a long time. A couple more skin products, and then I think we're gonna get into my own wish list. Tower 28 Sunny Days, SPF 30. This is Melrose. I just think if you're looking for an easy, throw it in your bag skin tint product, it's really great. And it's also approved by the National Eczema Association. So if you are someone that is looking for a skin tint that will potentially not irritate your skin, if you feel like your skin is really sensitized right now, if you have a sunburn, anything like that, I feel like compromised skin would probably go better with a product like this rather than like a full-on Glam foundation. It's a very stable product. The formula is, I would say it's a touch more on the dewy side rather than the matte or natural side, but I also don't find it to be an overwhelmingly dewy product. Really blendable, easy to work with. It's just, you know, an easy throw it in your bag product, but I also wanted to recommend the Kosas Revealer Foundation. You guys know I love this one. It just gives a very creamy effect to the skin. Definitely has a decent amount of coverage as well. Just more of a perfecting foundation. But I like that my skin always feels like it's doing better when I'm wearing the one from Kosas. I don't know what it is about it. So like, I would definitely recommend either of these. And now let's get into my wish list. So speaking of Tower 28, I would really like to try their new SOS Barrier Cream. I really like their SOS Mist. That is great, especially in the summer if you're out sweating all day. Great to kind of just balance the skin overall. It's going to do a good job of that, but I'm interested in seeing what the barrier cream is like. I love trying new moisturizers, and I haven't tried a new one in a while, so I think I'd like to pick that up. Half Light from Rituelle de Fille, the cream shadow. It's one of my favorites. It is such an absolutely perfect shade. If you love taupey brown shades, please try that one. It's beautiful, but mine dried out a while ago, so I need to pick up a new one. Excited to have it in the new glass packaging. I'm going to be picking up another one of the Tower 28 Make Waves mascaras because it's so good. Fille also has their Ingrown Concentrate that I'm kind of interested in trying out as well. The Fille oil, I just want to see like what the difference is between the two if I see different results. They also have a shave cream that I'm like kind of interested in now. I feel like I'm kind of a Fille stan. Fille oil is more intended to soften the hair and make ingrown hair less likely to happen. Those are all of my recommendations. Those are all of the products that I think I'm going to pick up. But let me know if you think there's anything else I should pick up. And if you have any like questions in general, definitely leave them below and I will try to help out. I will also leave a link to the sale down below. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in my next one.